This is The Spot, a BYU-Idaho radio production where we talk about what you're talking about at BYU-Idaho. Today's hosts are me, Savannah Bewley,
Hayden Hon,
Wearne, and Noah Farley.
The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. Today, we're talking about music, and as you can hear from our theme song, we absolutely love music. DJ Quads is great, and we're jamming in the studio to DJ Quads every single week while we're recording our episodes. It's just amazing. So we thought, hey, let's talk about music because we obviously love it, so let's do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love music. It's like as soon as we got the option to be a part of this episode, I was like, please make me a part of it, because I feel like not only am I listening to it daily, but I feel like my whole life it's been like a part of me. And so talking about music is going to be really easy, but also like I'm going to be really interested in what music means to you guys.
Yeah, no, it's an everyday consumption thing for me too. I'm like, can't go a day without music for sure.
Music for me is literally like an everyday situation for me. I listen to it on the way to classes. I listen to it at home while I'm doing my homework. I listen to music like almost 24/7. If I could listen to music 24/7, I would.
Yeah.
Like I love it so much. And before the podcast, before we started recording, we actually started talking about our headphones.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I have a backup set of headphones because if these for some reason break in the middle of the day, I would be distraught if I couldn't listen to my music for the rest of the day. It would be awful. So yeah. And usually I try to make sure that my headphones are completely charged. And if they're not, they're a little USB cable, so I can charge them literally
anywhere.
At any computer,
Yes.
which
Always
is totally
have it
worth it.
I was looking at that right there. She's charging it right now, by the way.
Yeah, I'm
guys.
charging my headphones right now.
But same thing for me. I have to have my headphones with me. I don't think I've gone to class without my headphones in probably, I don't know. Let's bring it back to like elementary school. I feel like it's been so long since I've gone to like school or class without headphones of some sort. I'm always listening to something.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I actually am better than all you mortals. I use bone conduction headphones.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, geez.
I love these things so much. They're awesome, and like they're so like lightweight. There's I cannot count the many times that I thought I'd lost my headphones, but they're just on my ears.
They're still on your ears.
They're still on my ears still.
Those are sweet though.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're great for multitasking and to listen to class and listen to music at your same time. I wonder why my grades are failing.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, as for me, I always have two sets of headphones with me wherever I go. I have my over-my-ear headphones, my Bluetooth ones, and then I also have my plug-in ones, just in case.
Throwing it
Just in
back,
case.
Yeah,
Yes.
always have the backup.
Like old reliable.
Yeah,
Unreliable.
yeah. And
I need
also
to have some old reliable headphones too, because
Yeah.
my backup headphones are also Bluetooth,
Mhm.
and they don't work the best, but they work enough, right?
Mhm.
But if I get like the wired ones like Noah uses, then they would never. I mean, as long as I'm not using them every day, they wouldn't like break or
Right.
anything. They'd be good backups, right?
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
prefer to use my big headphones because during the winter they also work as my earmuffs.
There we go.
Which is
That's what
super
I'm talking
nice,
Uh,
especially here in Rexburg, right?
about. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, I listened to Coldplay a lot. And early Coldplay is very, alternative rock. Coldplay now is still very good. It's just a little different.
Yeah,
than,
it's a little too. I mean, it's not too, but they added a
poppy.
little poppy. Yeah.
Compared to their old stuff. Their old stuff is definitely more alternative rock, which is one of my favorite genres of music. Just so great. What about you guys? What do you listen to on a regular basis?
I would have to say mine's a little odd. I guess not odd, but I wouldn't say everyone listens to it. It's called like anti-pop, I guess.
Mhm.
Anti-pop, but I would also say alternative. But I tend to say I can listen to just about anything, just depending on the mood. That's one of those things with music. It's kind of like, depending on your mood, you could totally listen, at least for me, anything.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so country, but really right now it's anti-pop, alternative, with a little bit of country. So that's just me right now, but I'm always changing. I feel like I've never stuck in just one area my whole life.
Yeah, definitely. Me personally, I listen to comedy music. The band's known as NSP. Just type in NSP Music. They're a comedy band. And they just sing about those stupidest things. But it always brings a smile to my face seeing their comedy. But I also listen to, not alternative music, but I listen to Japanese music mainly. Japanese music. I just love the rhythm they have. And I'm just in love with it. especially if it ties in with like an anime intro, specifically with One Piece. But I'm just like, man, this song is bopping. I can't get it out of my head. And then I also like listen to like background music, orchestral theme music for movies and TV shows, you know?
So good.
Exactly. Like, I'm like, oh, I love the theme to that music. So I like look it up in the background. I'm like, background music to this scene. Because sometimes it's to a TV show. And like everyone knows, you know, your Star Wars, your Lord of the Rings, you know, all the big ones. But they're like, there's a lot of like TV shows and movies that aren't as recognized that have really good scores too that I feel like this fall under the bridge, you know? So, yeah.
And hey, we have a whole show dedicated to movie music.
Plug in sponsor time.
Yeah. It's called The Perfect Score. If you guys haven't heard it, it's on Fridays and Saturdays here at the station, KBYI. But yeah, as we were talking about movie music specifically, one that popped into my brain, The Incredibles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, those songs in those movies are so good. I don't even know. Like, it's just amazing. It's perfect for the movie. It's just catchy. And like, everybody has those automatic songs, right? The songs that you just like start singing randomly. Mine is the Incredibles theme song. Like when I'm just like cleaning and stuff and I start randomly humming something, it's always the Incredibles theme song.
Is your go-to humming cleaning song. Nice. All right, I like it.
What about you, Noah? What do you listen to on a regular basis?
On a regular basis, well, let's start out with what I don't like.
Like a long list. Boom, boom, boom.
I don't like country music. I'm sorry.
No.
Please don't.
You're in Idaho. You gotta fake it, man. You gotta fake it.
I like early 2000s country, but other than that, no.
There we go. That's good.
I've been listening to current country because I'm from a country town myself, and like they're trying to incorporate rap into modern day country songs.
Well, there's a lot of like the country rap or country hip hop, and keep it country.
Yeah,
keep
I'm not
it country.
a fan of those.
It's like
not
okay,
at all.
sure. You know, but anyways,
So you don't like country?
Don't like country. Don't like most rap. Let's see. I do like pop music. Not so much how it is today. I feel like a lot of pop music, at least American pop music nowadays, is following the same formula. Calvin Harris, wherever you are, I'm talking about you.
Oh, I love Calvin Harris. I love Calvin Harris.
I know. But just as an example. But nowadays I listen to a lot of pop music from other countries and in other languages. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah, like French, Italian, Polish, J-pop, K-pop, stuff like that.
Spanish pop it's fire. I love Spanish pop. Do you listen to Spanish pop?
Actually, no.
It's so
Add
good.
it to the list, man.
So good. I love it. So I actually have a whole playlist dedicated to international music because it's so amazing to hear what people are doing around the world. And I just love it so much. A lot of it is Spanish pop, but some of it's not. Some of it's actually, K-pop groups and things like that. So it's a fun playlist.
I almost feel like the lyrics in a song can hit you more when you can't fully understand it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because then you can look it up later and you're like, oh, that's what I've been listening to this whole time.
Yeah, for sure. I see that.
So as I was saying, music is my life. And of course, Brynlee Fowler got to actually talk to a few band members from Black Rock Outlook, which is a band here on campus. So this is what they had to say about their life of music.
Hey everyone, my name's Brynlee Fowler, and I'm here at the BYU-Idaho radio station. We have the privilege of talking with Dean Harris and Gabe Calderon, and they're a part of the band called Black Rock Outlook, and they're here at BYU-Idaho as students. And we're going to be talking to them today about all things music. So Dean, Gabe, when did you first know that you wanted to make music?
Okay, I always liked music when I was younger. I used to just go on YouTube and just search up regular weird videos I found on YouTube about music, always branching out. I really I wanted to do music when I was probably in ninth grade, but I didn't really get anywhere with solo stuff. I don't know. I needed more time to practice with my voice. I went to high school for voice. I practiced piano, guitar, so I wanted to take time to actually practice those instruments so I can actually play the music. But I didn't really actually start making music until 2021 when I started this band with Dean. Back when we were called The Bleached, we changed that name.
I love that name.
Yeah, we changed it to Black Rock Outlook. It has more of a significant meaning to us.
So Dean, what about you? When did you know that you wanted to make music?
So for me, growing up, I, like most LDS kids, had to play the piano. My mom was very adamant about me practicing like 30 minutes a day, playing the piano, and it was okay. And I did enjoy that part, but I always wanted to make my own music. I always was like, these things that other people are making are cool, but I like it to sound this way, or like I want to do it my own way.
For sure.
And it was kind of random plunking that sometimes sound good until I got around to high school or middle school. I did some chorus and stuff, but high school, really, I went into a music school and kind of got to know more the theory behind, so I could have some more congruity to what I was playing.
So I guess another question that I have, and that I think most BYU-Idaho students will have, is just how do you get into music if you aren't so musically inclined? Like, how do you get better at music, basically? What have you guys done? I know, Dean, you mentioned how, you started off with piano and maybe things didn't come as naturally to you, but as you were kind of dinking around, same with you, Gabe, you kind of found that you had a knack for it, and then practice got better. So what advice do you have to students?
Yeah, so the main thing that I do in music is work in DAWs, or digital audio workspaces, which is where a lot of the music is made and put together. If you see like those videos of producers like in their rooms, or like producers in studios, like that's what they're creating the music on. And those things, if you can get an entry-level one, like GarageBand is a very entry-level. And so honestly, you can get into a bunch of different ones. BandLab is one that I would recommend for people starting out. It's completely free. And you can just go and just mess around with some sounds, which is super fun. You don't really have to know too much to just start that way. And then if you want to kind of take it to where you can have some credibility with your work, BYU-I offers music classes that are super good, and you don't have to be a major. A lot of people in the entry-level music classes aren't majoring in music, and you can take one of those, and it starts you really at ground zero. It's a super good basis for the theory, which doesn't tell you how to make your music, but tells you how it works and why things would sound good and why things wouldn't sound good.
Yeah, and that's the first step, right? That's such good information to know that BYU-Idaho offers classes like that. What about you, Gabe? What kind of advice do you have to students here that want to get into music?
It truly depends. There's lots of different types of music that exists out there. Different types of writers. If you're more of like a songwriter, then you might want to spend your time, writing lyrics or, poetry or stuff like that. That's what I did when I was younger. A lot of lyrics, a lot of poetry. But if you're more like a instrumentalist type of person or sound, just really experiment and keep an open mind to all like the different instruments there are, and pick up one that you like the most and just practice it from there if you really like it. I know for me, I like guitar a lot. I remember when I was younger, I was like, oh man, guitar's so cool. I want to be able to play so well. And I mean, when I first picked it up, I was like, bro, I am terrible at this. And it practicing like a new instrument might suck at first, but once you like take the time and you actually like grind those hours out and practicing, like you start enjoying your instrument a lot more because you can do a lot more with it. So yeah, that's my advice, just whatever you think is awesome, just do it.
That is such good advice. Thank you so much, Gabe. And so I guess just last thing, are you guys going to be performing anytime soon? Where could students go and see you perform if they wanted to? Or can they look you up on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, anything like that? Or is it still in the making?
Yeah, right now we're going to be performing at a Daisy Links. It's near Domino's and Book Viking, March 16th, 7 to 8 p.m. That'll be our first ever performance.
Ooh.
So yeah, we're excited for that.
Well, thank you so much, you two. I can really tell that you guys have a desire for music, and I wish you all the best of luck. You guys are so genuine and so kind. And yeah, everyone who's listening, go ahead and look them up, Black Rock Outlook. And again, they're going to be performing on March 16th.
It is so cool to hear like the ins and outs of a band and the dedication that it takes to make music on a regular basis. I thought it was really cool when the keyboardist, he brought up how a lot of people around this area, or LDS people, grow up learning piano. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really like the first exposure to music a lot of people have. Oh, yeah. And it's really cool to hear what he changed that experience into. And it really just affected his entire life.
Mm-hmm. I know for me, like I was supposed to be that piano player too, but I remember I like broke my wrist or something and I stopped practicing. And then my mom's like, why are you not practicing? I'm like, Mom, I have a broken wrist. Like, what do you want me to do? Jam out with one hand? Which I could have, but yeah, I gave up my dream and of being a pianist back in the day. Maybe I should have stuck with it. I could be a part of the.
You could still do it. Hayden.
I could be part of their band.
Yeah.
I can play the ukulele. There's that. It's a 4-string instrument.
Slight brag over here.
Yeah, no. It's a quite simple instrument to learn.
No, yeah, it's cool though. I love it. It gives me like Jack Johnson vibes. You know what I mean? I love Jack Johnson.
Right.
Do you play anything, Noah?
Used to. I also played the piano a little bit as a kid, but I'm allergic to playing things I don't enjoy.
Oh,
I get that.
No,
there we go.
I want to learn the piano because there's like a lot of songs that I'm like, oh man, if I could just play that on piano, I don't need music. I don't need my head. What if I lose my headphones? I'll have the song on my piano. You
start playing it, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. The problem with that is finding a piano, unless you have a piano already, which is a thing. But
I feel like the go-to song that everyone like they just learned piano. I feel like the first song they always like want to learn how to play is "The River Flows Through You." You know that one? Like
It's just a difficult starting spot.
No, it's not difficult.
I started up to that. Hot cross buns or whatever it's called.
Yeah, hot cross buns.
That was the go-to.
Honestly,
that was a jammer.
Piano is wonderful. Piano is like a big part of my life. I love playing piano. It is so fun. It's actually one of the first things that helped me realize how much music meant to me. When I was 11, 12, I think I was about 12 years old, I started to go after church and just start playing the piano. And I sat down. And the very first time I sat down to learn how to play piano, I just had this gift that I believe God gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just sitting there playing and I was like, am I actually playing this music right now? Because it does not sound like something a beginner would be playing. And so throughout my whole life, I've just been learning how to hone that a little bit since then. And it's just been a wonderful musical instrument that I've enjoyed playing my whole life. I also like to play the drums, which is so fun. Snare drum. It's been one of my favorite favorite instruments to play. And timpani, the big timpani drums. I love playing timpani drums.
Is that from your marching band days?
Timpani is more concert band stuff.
Is it concert band?
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's those really big brass. Are they brass? They're copper, I think. The really, really big drums that are this big. And I know you guys can't see it, but I mean, I don't know. They're really cool. Look it up. Look up timpani drums because they're actually drums that can they have foot pedals and you can tune them in the middle of songs, and they can change notes and stuff, which is really cool. Really cool. In high school, I actually got to play the timpani in lots of concerts and things like that. So it was really fun. It was kind of one of my first exposures to concerts before I got to go and visit them myself. Have you guys gone to any really awesome concerts?
I guess including, because it's the same thing, kind of growing up, we all go to those band concerts. Some of them can be good and some of them can be the very opposite of that. But, it's part of it. And it's you gotta really listen and be like, what song are they playing, But it's part of the experience and it's part of learning to love music is that you kind of got to go through that little process. But one of my favorite bands, concerts I've been to they're called the Bombay Bicycle Club. It's kind of a smaller alternative-y sounding band, but I went when I was 13 or 14 with my oldest brother. It was kind of a little bonding experience with my oldest brother. But it was really cool because we connected in that way to where maybe we didn't have a ton of similarities at the time, but we did both love that band. And so it was a cool experience to go there. It was one of those smaller, tiny venues where maybe 50 people, but all right next to each other and the band right in front of you. And it was super cool. My ears were bleeding by the end of it because it was so enclosed. But I look back on that, I'm so happy I went to that. And then now they're still one of my favorite bands. And so I loved that experience.
I actually recently just went to my first concert. The thing is, I always said to myself, I feel like a lot of bands I loved, they're all dead or not not here anymore. Okay, not all dead, but the band itself is dead. But the singers are well alive.
Okay.
There we go.
Got it, sorry.
Anyways, they aren't there anymore. If I did go to the concert, I see I see my friends, they're like, oh, I went to a Taylor Swift concert. It cost me only $150. And it shows them in Taylor Swift the size of a rice grain,
Mm-hmm.
I'm at that point, you're looking at the Jumbotron. I'm at that point,
you might as well stay at home and watch it on your screen.
Yeah. Anyway, so my favorite band, NSP, luckily they aren't that big. They only have 2 million subscribers on YouTube. And so I got to go there. I got to go to my first concert with them, and it was in Arizona. And I remember I bought like the exclusive $150 ticket because then I got to go to like a Q&A before the show started. And it's so
that's cool.
Yeah, it was so cool seeing them in the start, and like the show was great. They were singing songs, cracking jokes in between songs and stuff like that. And I remember one time the main singer, his name's Dan, he's like, okay, everyone, I need everyone to be quiet. Like everyone was like quiet, And then I decided I was just like, hi.
Oh gosh.
You did that?
I did that. And then he like opened up his eyes like, hey. He was like, I'm cool with it. It was just so
That's
funny.
way cool.
Anyways, and it was just an awesome concert, and I was just like, that was amazing. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. I spent way too much on memorabilia because I was like, I don't want to forget this. So I bought the sweatshirt, the T-shirt, the poster.
Yeah.
The poster, the albums. I bought I spent
get it all.
$250 worth of stuff. I was like,
Worth
I
it.
needed it. I needed it all.
Absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
For me, I think I've been to a few concerts because I just love music. Like when I was little, my very first concert I went to was Owl City when I was like a 12-year-old girl. So,
Owl City was popping off right around then.
Yeah.
He's doing some great stuff recently too, by the way. If
I
you
love
didn't
his
know,
sound.
Owl City is doing new things. You need to listen to his new music
we go.
that just came out this last couple weeks. Like good stuff. But anyway, so he was the first concert I went to. And then I went to another concert by Postmodern Jukebox. I don't know if you guys have heard of them.
Postmodern Jukebox.
They're really, really cool. And I was a fan of theirs for a while at that point. And my friend from college decided to invite me to go to Indianapolis and watch one of their shows. And that was an experience seeing them live. One that I cannot not mention that I've been to is a Pentatonics / Kelly Clarkson concert.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Sweet.
so
That's cool.
Pentatonics was her opener. And this was before they were so popular that they had their own concerts. So they were like opening Kelly Clarkson. And so I got to see Pentatonics and Kelly Clarkson in the same day. And it was so cool. So cool.
That's awesome.
Definitely some of my favorite experiences in concerts.
Yeah. And have you been to a concert?
I've been to some concerts. I think my very first one was like an a cappella group from some college. Yeah, it was like my very first time, and it was really fun. I liked how engaging they were. I've never really been to a full-on concert. I've been to the ones here on campus, and those are always fantastic. I think the closest I ever got was me and my dad being outside the arena while my sister was inside for a 5 Seconds of Summer concert.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
So we heard some of it.
Makes
So
sense
if
to
you
me.
could go to any concert though, Noah, where would you go? Like who would you see?
I would see my favorite group, Roselia.
Roselia.
It
Okay.
is a J-rock group.
Oh, cool. So you'd probably have to travel the world to go see some of your favorite artists, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Hey, it's an excuse, right?
Yeah,
Excuse to go see the world, right?
exactly.
Might as well do it.
What about you guys? Anybody you would love to see that you haven't got to see yet?
Like I said, I'm a fan of Japanese music and stuff like that. There's this concert they hold in Japan where they sing just Japanese intro music the whole time.
What?
And like it has like a big crowd. It like shows like there's like hundreds of thousands of people there, and like they all like glow sticks and stuff like that. I'm like, that's like a band. That's a crowd I'd love to be in because I love in anime intro music. I'm just like, oh man, I just jam out to all of them. They like multiple artists come on stage. They all trade off and stuff like that, and just it's a big thing like that.
Always ongoing, kind
It's
of.
always
more and
ongoing.
more.
Like
That's sweet.
one song's over, the next group comes in. It's just like nonstop action. I'm like, if I went to Japan and I was like there, I'd totally go to a concert like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, it's like your playlist played live.
I like that.
He's so cool.
I think one that I'd love to go to, because I said I kind of like country, but Zach Bryan, he's kind of a country, but also I'd call him, he's almost like an anti-pop country artist, I guess, if you can kind of mix it all together, because he's kind of against the popularity of like all the mainstream stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of where country's been going, where we talked about earlier, where like it's getting too poppy soundy.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of gotten to like this old Western rustic sound, really raspy voice, kind of powerful and good messages too. So I really like him, and I've seen his concerts, and they kind of go like, his concerts look sweet. He really involves the audience, and he makes it a good experience for you. So it's not like he's just there for the money. He's already said he's like just doing this tour, maybe one more album, he's done with music. He just wants to do it for the people. And so I'd love to be a part of that, for sure. I think for sure him. I was thinking anyone else, but I couldn't really think. He's just the first one that came to mind. So
Yeah,
Zach Bryan.
Awesome.
Zach Bryan, huh? Okay. I'll have to check him out.
Yeah, he's good.
Sounds cool.
He's good.
For me, I think the group that I've always wanted to see my whole life, I've been listening to this group for 15 plus years. Already talked about them. Coldplay.
Coldplay. Which I would go to that too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I would
sure.
die if somebody was like, "I'm going to take you to Coldplay." I would just die. Like
I would go
so
for 5
excited.
minutes.
I
Oh,
love
it'd be so
Coldplay.
great.
Yeah.
I loved them at the Super Bowl halftime performance. I think they did. Was it like 2016 or something like that?
Somewhere around there.
And he had just released that newish album, but I loved it. And I'm like, man, if I was there, like I love the Super Bowl, but like just to be there for that like concert, I would have loved it.
So cool. So cool.
Right.
And I will have to say, Coldplay is actually like definitely going to be somebody I listen to every single day in my day-to-day life. It's every single day I have at least a couple of their songs in my playlist because I just have to listen, even their older stuff. And if I'm in like a bad mood or a happy mood, like no matter what mood I'm in, I can listen to Coldplay and be happy.
I wish I could think of someone that I was like, kind of like Coldplay in your level, but like I guess day to day I'm always listening to something different. I think my goal in life, and I worked at a radio station for a little bit while at Snow College, so my responsibility was listening to music that not a lot of people knew, and so my day to day is trying to find that next new song that I love, and so I'm always listening to stuff, and the reason why I'm listening to stuff is because I want to find something that I can appreciate and also share with others. I love sharing music, and so that's really kind of like what I love to do each day and why I listen to music.
So day to day, there's a song, and I don't mean to be, I'm not being dramatic when I say this. I think I've listened to it every day since at least last March. And it's a Japanese song, and it's the intro to this show One Piece. And I love it for the sentimental meaning, and I love it just because like it's just a really good bop. I've listened to it so much, I know I can sing along with them in Japanese, and I don't know Japanese. I'm like, Hakikeru yume mo hakiyatsume sagashimo
We've got a concert from Grant.
sagashimi no sa. Anyways, I just love. I listen to that song literally every day, and I can't remember a day where I haven't listened to it. And I always like if I can't, I listen to a variation of it. If it's like, oh, I can't listen to it today, but I'll listen to this variation of it. I'll listen to this cover. I'll listen to this orchestral cover of it. I found a Motab version. It was crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like this Japanese choir singing. I'm like, this sounds just like Motab.
As long as you get your daily dosage of it.
Yes, daily dosage, exactly, day to day.
Yeah.
So, what about you?
Me, day to day, I'm usually listening to my Roselia playlist.
Okay.
Oh, bringing Rosalia back.
But yeah. Anyway.
I like that. And I guess when we talk day to day, we're also including like, for us, we're all students, obviously. And so for study music, does that change a lot?
Oh, I
Do
can.
you guys like, can you
definitely.
listen to your same stuff that you do right now? Because I feel like if I find myself singing too much to a song, then I can't focus, you know? So it's got to be more of like a...
I'm like writing a paper. I'm writing the lyrics on accident.
Yeah.
You start typing it out.
Yeah,
For me, it depends on like what homework I'm working on.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it's like something that I need to use my brain a lot, I have to listen to like piano music or something like that. Which, by the way, if you haven't heard William Joseph, great pianist.
Oh, there we go, yeah.
Love him so much. Him and George Winston. So sometimes if I'm like doing something that I really have to concentrate on, then I will listen to piano music. But if I'm like doing something that's creative work that I'm just like having fun with, it's a project that maybe like a Photoshop project or something like that, I'm jamming out to Coldplay. I'm jamming out to like all of my like favorite artists. Lifehouse, by the way, is awesome as well.
Like kind of vibing out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely. So yeah, for school, it really kind of depends.
Yeah. As for me, I cannot listen to music of any kind when I'm studying or doing some kind of school assignment because I have to be paying attention to the music. Mm-hmm. You have to feel the music.
He's a true lover of music over here, right? I mean, you're just trying to give the love to the music it deserves.
That music all your attention, you know?
That's understandable, though.
I can't concentrate otherwise.
Yeah. My study music, I always like listening, lyric free music. I always like listening to, like we talked about music scores. I usually just like listen to music scores when studying.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter. Yep, that's
Hans
a good
Zimmer.
one.
Hans Zimmer.
Or I listen to my own, or I listen to a podcast while I'm studying too. But I always like listening to music for sure.
Which podcast do you listen to, Grant?
I listen to
BYU.
The spot.
This is a perfect chance. Come on, she even changed her voice for it.
I listen to the spot, but I also listen to my own podcast. I love this part. A film and TV podcast.
Let's plug it in.
There we go. No, but I would listen to some Australians too. But that's not music. That's podcast. So let's go.
Yeah, that's part of it nowadays, I guess, in a way. I work at a gym, so working out is a part of it, and so it's like, but I feel like the things I listen to when I work out can be kind of different, like depending on my mood at the gym. So if I'm like in a down mood, maybe I need to listen to some slower stuff and just be in the mode where I'm just thinking about life, but also working out and stuff. But then there's stuff sometimes where you just kind of go listen to that stuff that just makes you kind of not think about anything and just, I don't know.
See, you said if you're in a down mood and you're at the gym and you got to listen to the slower music. I can't do that when I'm at the gym.
I know. I don't know how I do it. It's just,
like when you're running and stuff, you got to have something that like paces you.
Yeah.
Like for me, I got to have some sort of like, upbeat, maybe sometimes like techno-y stuff while I'm at the gym and just like walking or running or things like that. You got to have something that you can
like the dubstep
go
in
to
there.
the beat. Dubstep.
When I'm running in the gym, I always like find the songs where it's like the main part, like the lyrics are like the jogging part, but then it's a full on sprint when it's the chorus.
Oh yeah,
I love it like that.
So great.
So it's like a good interval right there. Yeah,
yeah,
good in between.
So good.
Just last week, I tried listening to like slower music. Didn't do it for me.
It definitely has to be like in the mood and kind of only a specific person. Like I don't know why it works sometimes, especially like those late night gym sessions. You can't go to sleep. You go to the gym. It's like it's a movie almost,
No, you got to get some Daft Punk. And,
I know. I love Daft Punk.
Get some Deadmau5 in there.
Oh,
Deadmau5 is great too. Marshmallow.
Perfect.
You got to have those kinds of songs when you're
at the
gym.
Those get me going, and I love it.
One thing I would like to mention is relationships and music in general with relationships, because it can really affect the way that you feel about somebody very quickly. Because if they're like, their favorite band is your favorite band, you're like, oh, I love this person. I don't even know anything else about you, but I love you now. Oh,
yeah, it's true.
It's so true. But also, I think it's really cool to mention that a lot of times in relationships, when you start to get to the point where you're making a playlist for each other, that's real commitment right there.
It's a big commitment right there. It's a big deal.
It's a really big deal. And you're like trying to get that other person to like understand you as a human through your music. And that is a level of a relationship that is hard to get to sometimes.
For sure. Yeah. When I think of music and relationships, you think of like, your love songs and all that kind of stuff. But another thing I think about is like, can she or a girl, like, can he listen to my music? Like, can he? And it makes me think of the Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal meme that's been going around lately.
Where he's looking and smiling. Yeah.
I feel like whoever I'm with, she's going to have like that, like the what face. And I'm going to be like smiling.
Just happy in the moment.
Pascal, I love this music.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because my boyfriend, he listens to metal, hard metal, and he's a metalhead, and I'm just not. I like the music, the instrument part. It's the screaming that I'm not as much of a fan of. Yeah, and I know there are a lot of people that love metal music. I'm not saying metal music is bad by any means. I'm just saying it's not my thing. And so it's funny that you mentioned, does she like my music? With my boyfriend, there are definitely some songs I can listen to, and others where I'm like, all right, can you listen to that by yourself? Because I can't listen to that one.
Right. Yeah. But I bet the ones that you do listen to probably mean a lot to him. Because I know,
absolutely.
For me, if I were to like share my music, and I know you're not gonna like all of them or something like that.
Exactly.
But if you're willing to listen, because some people are like, oh, I don't like this, I'll never listen to it. I'm like, oh, that's like such a downer, because I love this stuff,
Yeah.
So at least if they go out of their way to give it a listen, it means a lot to the person, and also you're also hoping they're gonna like it. If not, you're like, okay, well, she listened to it.
I do that a lot.
I always make an effort to like listen to what they love, especially on road trips. I'm like, I can't have it all be my playlist, especially if it's not your thing,
Exactly.
Take turns,
Which I'm easy because I love Taylor Swift too, so I can totally jump onto that. Yeah, I can listen to Taylor Swift all day.
T-Swift.
See, we do a lot of that though, like listening to each other's music, even if we're not necessarily into it. Like, I'm actually connected to his Bluetooth in his car. And then we'll like switch off who does the music for the day. Yeah. And so I'll listen to some of his heavier metal stuff. And even if I'm not interested in it at that moment, I might be like, oh, why is he like this song? And like thinking about like, what about it that
give it a chance.
Likes. Yeah, give it a chance. And then he'll do the same thing for my music. Sometimes my music is a bit eclectic. If you know Scotty Sire, I don't know if anybody knows Scotty Sire, but He's a funny, kind of like an SP. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
And there's one song called Sad Song, which is literally like a upbeat, peppy song about being sad. It's great. It's so good.
Just a quick note on that before we transition. I really love it that you mentioned that, because there's this guy, he has a YouTube channel where his whole YouTube channel is doing cover songs of very depressing songs in a very happy tune. He's like, I sung In the End, Linkin Park's In the End, in the happy tune. It's a hilarious thing. I'm like,
that is awesome.
The lyrics are so depressing, but he sounds so happy singing them.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up, talking about the music industry right now. It's so different. And it's so cool at the same time. There's so many things, like you could just be like, oh, I want to listen to sad songs that are super happy, and then boom,
you can find it.
You find it. Like it's just, you can find pretty much anything nowadays. Go on Spotify, you look it up, and honestly, I love Spotify because like anybody, your everyday Joe could put their own music on Spotify. And that's so cool to me, because it's on the same app that all the like really professional mainstream artists are on as well. So you can find anybody doing anything. I have a few friends that have songs on Spotify as well, and it's just really, really cool to hear them on the same app as I'm listening to Taylor Swift, you know, or Katy Perry. You
just
know
like
what I mean?
Throw them in the playlist with like all these big people. It's like, oh, it's because everyone can be a part of it. And so I think the music industry, Grant kind of made like a sound like he was. It's kind of gone to a point where there's a very far part of it where like I'm not liking where it's going, but then there's a lot of it where I'm like, I love where it's going because it's so creative, you know what I mean? And I think it's so diverse, because growing up, we all kind of grew up around that same time where it's like there were these artists, they were popular, and that's who you knew. You know, the radio people that were always playing over and over and over again. And so it's like, they're not bad, but it's so great that now we get them, and we also get all these other people, and we get to experience them, and we get to choose what we like. We don't have to like only listen to what's on the radio. We get to have our own little playlist. We get to be our own DJ. And so I love where the music industry is going.
Yeah, it's just so funny because like I like look at the Grammys. That's it. And I'm always like, who? Huh?
Yeah.
What? I'm like, I do not know any of these people, nor do I have the interest to. And
Which is great because you have that choice, right?
And I have that choice. I'm like, I got this band I found on YouTube, and I listen to them all the time, and I'm good. You know, I don't have to like the biggest stuff right now.
You know what makes a big difference for me finding new artists? TikTok. I find new artists on TikTok all the time, and it's so cool. And of course, you know, TikTok started as a music app, right? So if you didn't know that, that was TikTok. It was called Musical.ly, and it was literally just people trying to get their music out there. And now TikTok, of course, is its own thing, but it's a completely different thing. But those musical artists are still on there. If you've heard of Connor Price, I watch him on TikTok all the time, and he is a great rapper. There was one called Blue Shell. So it's like a nerdy rap with, you know, talking about Blue Shell with the Mario Kart and stuff like that. And then there was one that he and Nick D, if you haven't heard of him, he's also pretty great. Both of them actually did a new song about Batman, and it's called Swing. And it's hilarious because it's talking about how he has literally no powers. He's just rich. And they're talking about how they're cool and they're rich. You know what I mean? Like, which is pretty funny. So it's really amazing, I think, just to see where the music industry came from to where it is now. Like, if you think back in the 80s, way different than what it is now. Way different. And it's so cool. Everybody can kind of be individual and really express themselves through what they listen to. You've been listening to The Spot, a production of BYU-Idaho Radio. Today's hosts were me, Savannah Bewley,
Hayden Hon,
Wearne, and Noah Farley.
The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university, and are solely the opinions of the hosts. This episode was edited by me and Nathan Anderson. Producers were the hosts, with supervision by Brandon Isle and Natalia Hepworth. Our theme music is Finding Happiness by DJ Quads and The Perpetual Ticking of Time by Artificial Music. To listen to more episodes of The Spot, like and follow us on social media, or visit our website, byui.edu/radio, and click podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to the BYU-Idaho Radio podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get podcasts. And also, leave a review of the show and leave a comment on what we should talk about next.